stade olympique qui a carrément explosé. Le stade a explosé.
Au fond des filets! Dans l'eau de la boîte à pain!
Mesdames, Messieurs, bonsoir. Bienvenue à cette première édition de Plein Axe. Frédéric Lord avec vous, commentateur des matchs du CF Montréal et de la MLS sur Apple TV.
Olivier Brett qui fait exactement la même chose pour le compte de RDS.
Nouvelle maison, mais même humour, même qualité et même esprit aussi. Plein Axe, c'est la continuité de notre relation, c'est surtout notre amitié, mais aussi du soccer nord-américain.
Des chicanes un peu aussi.
Exactement. On est sur chaosport.tv dès aujourd'hui et pour le reste de l'année. On va aussi accompagner l'équipe nationale canadienne jusqu'à 2026 aussi. On a signé pour ça.
Tout à fait.
Il y a pas l'option est aux joueurs, pas à l'équipe en quelque sorte.
Exactement.
8 ans que l'équipe nationale canadienne n'a pas été au Stade Saputo aussi. Comme dirait ma grand-mère, comptez pas les tours, on n'est pas sorteux. Ça va être un super match prévu contre l'Australie vendredi ici. J'y serai, j'espère que vous y serez aussi en quelque sorte. 7 Québécois, ou 6 en fait, sans Moïse.
Exactement, qui s'est blessé au cours de la dernière semaine.
Plusieurs anciens du CF Montréal aussi.
8.
Ça va être, ça va être un grand plaisir. Alors, et le Canada n'a jamais été aussi bon aussi. C'est le classement FIFA qui le dit. 26e au classement FIFA. Au moment où Jesse Marsch a commencé à remplir avec l'équipe canadienne, ils étaient 49e. 26e au classement FIFA. Toi, tu le regardes à chaque jour, le classement FIFA?
Tout à fait. Le classement FIFA, c'est une des choses les plus faciles à calculer. D'ailleurs, tu n'as pas demandé à ChatGPT comment ça fonctionne?
Ouais, depuis que je suis big, maintenant que je suis avec Chaosport TV, je fais plus de blagues. J'ai fait écrire par l'intelligence artificielle. Donc, j'ai 2 blagues pour toi. Le classement FIFA, pour les Québécois ici, c'est comme... c'est vraiment des jokes qui ont été générés par ChatGPT, d'accord?
Ça veut dire que ça va être poche puis tu veux t'en dédouaner.
Le classement FIFA, c'est comme les décorations de Noël à Trois-Rivières qui sortent en novembre. Trop tôt, mal placé, puis ça sert à rien de te mélanger. Ça sert juste à te mélanger aussi. Bon, là, l'intelligence artificielle ne peut pas rendre la blague meilleure, c'est certain.
On n'est pas au bordel.
On est très content. Vous aurez reconnu aussi Jesse Marsch qui est avec nous. Monsieur Jesse Marsch, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Merci d'être avec nous. Vous le connaissez, il y a plusieurs abonnés de saison du CF Montréal, ancien entraîneur du CF Montréal, qui a terrorisé l'Europe avant finalement de revenir avec le Canada. On est vraiment très content de vous avoir, Jesse.
Oui, en français.
On
S'il vous plaît, en anglais. Okay.
On va faire en anglais.
Je comprends beaucoup, mais parler est très difficile.
Listen, we'll do something that'll make it even more awkward than if we were asking you to do the whole thing for 45 minutes in English. We'll tell you that for Fred and I, we're very happy because you're our first for the second time. Because when we started off, we were...
13 years later, 13 ans plus tard.
Exactly. I remember conversations we had together in Outremont. That's back in the day when you were training. You were starting off your career as a manager. As a head coach, we were starting off our careers in media, and there's a very interesting, and we're very grateful for this kind of full circle moment. So basically, thanks for being there.
Yeah, very cool.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. It's been a while. L'eau a coulé sous les ponts aussi. Il faut pas. On va aussi acknowledger sa présence aussi. Tu sais, je suis dans le franglais. Tu es beaucoup dans le franglais en ce moment. Maxime Crépeau qui est avec nous. On peut accueillir Maxime Crépeau. Merci d'être là, Max.
Merci de me recevoir.
On va mettre quelque chose au clair aussi, parce que j'écoute souvent les matchs de l'équipe nationale avec mon fils. Puis je dis, hey, c'est Maxime Crépeau. Il dit, oui, c'est ton ami. Je dis, Max, on est-tu amis? Pour mon fils, je peux-tu dire qu'on est amis?
On est amis.
All right. All right. 13 ans, donc. La dernière fois, on a vu Jesse. My English isn't getting better in 13 years, so I'll work on it. It feels like you came here, and I feel like we were both young also, Olivier and I. We were starting a career, and we were like, oh, he's coming here. Is he going to tell us what soccer is? I felt we were pretty young and méfiant. Is it méfiant? Méfiant, en quelque sorte. I feel like it's a little bit like... All your career is a bit like that. You have to go past the perception. It happens to you in UK. It happens to you is it something that
I mean, look, it's funny that you guys mentioned that because I remember meeting both of you and when we all started the movement of the club into MLS. And by the way, just probably about 100 yards from here, I remember being with Max when he signed his first professional contract.
Wow.
So
First coach?
yeah, we've all come a lot full circle for sure. So it's interesting. And I was remarking to Max that a lot of the improvements that I've made to the stadium, that was just a construction site last time I was here.
Right.
So it's nice. It's nice to be back. I feel a real positive connection to this city, to this club. Being back here now to represent the national team with all the positivity around the development with the team and the development with the players, I think it's a positive moment for us in our history with the national team, and I think we really believe in our future, and we're really excited for next summer.
It was important to come back to Montreal for you, as I understand, and for the Canadian Association.
Yeah, so we were back here to train last October, but then we played against Panama in Toronto, and we were a little bit regretting the fact that we hadn't arranged that game to be here as well, because we could see the energy around the team being here. I mean, I don't know if you remember the training session.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
But there were like 3,000-4,000 people here just for the training session. And so we're really excited that the stadium will be full tomorrow. And, you know, we're really excited that the energy for I know from coaching here in Montreal that this is a football town, you know, and there's a lot of excitement around the team, the club, the game. And so we really wanted to bring some matches back here.
Pour toi, Max, je ne sais pas si tu étais arrivé tantôt, je parlais de ta relation avec le stade. Ça a été ta première maison, j'ai envie de le dire comme ça. En même temps, tu as dû avoir un domicile permanent ailleurs par la suite. Tu as surtout vécu des moments. Ça va être ton deuxième match international ici. Tu te souviens de ton premier?
Curaçao, le dernier match qu'on a joué ici.
En fait, tu en as joué un avant ça contre Haïti. Avec l'équipe réserve, oui, pour vrai. T'as joué.
Je me souviens pas.
C'était avec les U21 de l'Impact de Montréal, avec la réserve, alors que, si je me souviens bien, Haïti se préparait à jouer une Gold Cup. Ça, c'est une expérience sur le terrain, mais te souviens-tu de ta nuit à la Belle Étoile ici?
Ça, je me souviens très bien.
Te souviens-tu ce qu'on a dû faire pour te réveiller parce que tu n'étais pas capable de te réveiller puis de te sortir du but? Pour donner un peu de contexte, c'est un exercice de team building avec Philippe Lafroy qui était entraîneur-chef de l'équipe réserve à l'époque. Moi, j'étais son adjoint. Puis on s'est dit, on devrait dormir au stade. Si c'est notre maison, on va dormir ici carrément à la Belle Étoile. Les entraîneurs dormaient le long du banc, les gardiens dans un but, les attaquants dans l'autre. Personne n'avait le droit de dormir sur le terrain, mais on se disposait autour de la surface. Puis là, quand c'est venu le temps de réveiller tout le monde le lendemain, il y en a un ou deux. Dominique Morin, je pense, c'était l'autre, qui était capitaine de l'équipe à ce moment-là, si je ne me trompe pas. Vous étiez impossible à réveiller. Qu'est-ce qu'on a fait pour changer ça?
On a blasté de la musique sur le système de son. Donc, ça a été un réveil un peu plus difficile ce matin-là.
La musique étant l'hymne national canadien. Quand je vous dis qu'on fait une boucle complète aujourd'hui, on avait l'hymne national dans le tapis. Ici, il y a bien des gens dans Hochelaga Maisonneuve qui devaient se demander ce qui se passait.
Un dimanche matin.
Exactement.
As-tu des problèmes d'anxiété maintenant quand tu entends l'hymne national canadien?
Non, pas du tout. C'est un bon sentiment. C'est un très, très bon sentiment.
Tu carbures à ça en même temps, tu sais, parce que c'est... je pense que c'est ça qu'on a vu dans tes performances. Tu carbures à l'électricité aussi. Tu es un gars émotif, puis je pense que ça te fait particulièrement bien jouer dans des moments qui sont périlleux. C'est quelque chose à laquelle tu réponds fort là-dessus. Quand on parlait de moments d'anxiété, c'est des choses que tu embrasses en quelque sorte.
Oui, franchement, j'aime cette adrénaline-là, ce moment de pression-là. Avoir une petite étincelle lorsqu'on en a besoin, c'est quelque chose que j'apprécie. Puis c'est pas quelque chose que je me dis « Ah, aujourd'hui, il va y avoir de l'étincelle ». Non, ça vient sur le moment, puis c'est là où j'y réponds présent parfois. C'est quelque chose que j'adore, puis c'est la raison pourquoi je suis gardien de but aussi. Les gens peut-être ne savent pas, mais j'adore ce petit côté d'adrénaline-là.
C'est pas parce qu'il y a personne d'autre qui voulait y aller quand tu avais 10 ans? Hein?
Aussi, l'adrénaline est venue par la suite.
We were talking earlier on, Jesse, about you're coming here to Montreal. I remember I was assistant coach to Phil with the reserve team. And I'll be honest with you, and I've always wondered what it was like on the other side of that table. With you, there was Dennis Hamlet, Preston Burpo was there. Was it Ben Rothstein, who was a fitness coach?
Adam
Rothstein.
Yeah.
And I remember as an academy, because we were already there before the transition to MLS, everybody was kind of on the back foot going, how are they going to come in here? How are they going to dictate what we're supposed to do as an academy? And I think everybody around the club was wondering how that would be approached. And it made me think about that moment when I heard you earlier on this year talk about was it 9 cities in Canada you visited? Yeah. And you said that was one of your big takeaways, making sure that when you come in, you gauge the room, so to speak, to make sure that the message gets across and it's not pontificating, I'm paraphrasing. Yeah. Was that the case at the time, or is that something that you've realized since?
You mean, so are you talking about my time in Montreal or taking over as a Canadian national team coach?
Just coming into a new environment. It was because you've been in very, very different setups.
Probably too many.
Hopefully this one stays.
Look, I've coached in 5 countries. This is one of the things that I always talk about is I learned different languages. You know, I really tried to learn French when I was here, and by the time I left, I was speaking in the media. I learned German when I went to Germany. I had to learn proper English when I went to England and say pitch and boots, or they would chastise me in the media. No, but I think the adaptation to any position in life and to any job, and certainly to be a giver as much as, you know, you don't want to go anywhere as a leader and just dictate how to do things and tell everybody like, you know, have every answer and tell everybody what to do. I believe a lot more in collaboration. I believe a lot more in working together. So, and look, I realized when I was given the job as the national team coach that it can be a very polarizing position, and people can have strong opinions about what you're doing, how you're doing it. And I wanted to be a unifier, not a divider. And I've worked really hard at that, really hard. And then when it comes to coaching the team, I say to them all the time that they're Canadian, not me. And that it's their team. And by the way, it's your team. It's your national team. I've been calling it the people's team. I've been making sure that when we do things that we're out in the community. You know, last time we were here, we went to all the local clubs. Yeah. We had the open training session. Like, these are all initiatives that Kevin Blue and I have been working through together to make sure that we create a movement around the team so that when we get to next summer, everybody feels so strongly about the progress of the team, the potential of the team, and their connection, that they feel like they really feel like it's a team that represents the Canadian community and that really plays that way. So in that sense, I'm very, very, very proud of them, and I'm very proud of what we have accomplished, not just on the pitch, but in the communities that we've been in, and we've made real strong connections and made sure that people feel part of it.
And that's really impressive. I don't have a question at the end of that, but that's impressive how much you went around in Canada at the moment. Like, no, I know that if you look at the US, and we have some colleagues from the US that are kind of jealous, how much you embrace the role and you embrace the community also. You could have stayed and be the manager.
Yeah, the only problem is I did it in January, and I probably...
maybe. But you must have freaking Flyers points also.
I've probably been to more Canadian cities than most Canadians.
Yeah, probably.
Like, really. And one of the things that I really loved is you kind of mentioned it, is I asked more questions than I made statements. I was like, what do you need in your community? What does the national team mean to you? What do you need from a national team coach? Tell me what it is and what it means to be Canadian. What things do you want to see from a national team program? And then I was able to collect all this information and then try to say, you know, talk about some of the things that we're doing with the team. And I was able to really learn what being the Canadian national team coach is, and then help guide the sport and make sure that the team represents what the people want to see.
How do you find the energy to do all that?
Well, that kind of stuff is fun.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I like to travel. I like to talk to people. I like to hear about their lives. I like to, you know, I mean, recently I was just in Banff for the first time. What an incredible place that is. I like to hear what people, what their experiences are like and what their attachment is to our sport and to the national team. So it's kind of like you know, there's a few parts of this job that are so much more than just being a football coach. And I think that's one of the things that I enjoy about being a national team coach, is the responsibility to the nation, to the people, to the mentality, right? You know, I mean, even I I was proud to defend Canada against Trump as an American because I hate Trump, but I was very proud to do it because I felt like someone needed to stand up for Canada the right way, right? So I don't know. I think I'm the right guy at the right time for this job and for these players.
C'est impressionnant. Je vais le dire en français, puis je vais le redire en fait. C'est impressionnant le nombre de communautés que Jesse Marsch. Je pense qu'on peut mettre Kevin Blue aussi là-dessus dans la
que Canada Soccer.
Oui. Puis j'ai fait des blagues, mais il y a des. Puis ça va être entre nous, mais il y a des collègues américains qui sont un peu même déçus de leur sélectionneur qui. On pensait qu'il allait faire ça. On pensait, écoute, Jesse Marsch dans plein de podcasts, on l'a entendu, on l'a vu, il est présent aussi, il est en chair et en os. Ça peut être un métier polarisant et un poste polarisant. On peut débattre des choix, mais pour l'instant, c'est 10 sur 10 ou 9,5 sur 10. Maybe on va se garder.
Mais vas-y, c'est quoi le point 5 que tu donnes
pas? On va se
pas?
garder point 5. Non, vas-y.
Max, on écoute le coach, c'est bien excitant. Il y a quelque chose de spécial qui se passe depuis plusieurs années avec cette équipe-là. Il y a une Coupe du Monde qui s'en vient dans notre cour arrière. Manière de parler. On ne reviendra pas sur le fait qu'il n'y a pas de match à Montréal.
Tu as une grande cour, toi.
Mais oui.
Non, mais ça paye. RDS, ça paye. Hein?
Non, attends, tu sais qui a une grande cour? Jesse, you have a big backyard. Because I heard you spend your mornings in your backyard. I heard you were there from 7 to noon. How big is that backyard?
Too big, unfortunately. Too many olive trees. And
Yeah, so you got inside information knowing that the price of olive oil was going up and you said, I'll just make my own?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not making enough to make any money off of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair.
It's still a good product, though.
Yeah. He's
Yes.
had it. Max has had it. You know, he's got my back.
Can we put orders in?
Sure.
Okay.
Come visit.
Consider me signed.
Rick came and visited. You know, anyone can.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Mais tu as vécu en 2022 tout le momentum extraordinaire de la qualif, puis toi, à quelques semaines, quelques jours de t'en aller, de t'envoler pour le Qatar, tu te fractures la jambe dans une finale de MLS Cup. Là, tu as un coéquipier qui vient de vivre essentiellement la même chose. Moïse a une grave blessure. C'est plus loin du tournoi, évidemment, donc tu as l'espoir de revenir au jeu. Qu'est-ce qu'il va vivre là dans les prochaines semaines, les prochains mois? Lui as-tu parlé? Est-ce que tu lui as donné des conseils?
Ouais, moi, on s'est parlé hier après-midi. Heureusement, son frère est avec lui en ce moment parce qu'il a besoin de support. Il va avoir l'opération jeudi, qui est demain. Donc, ça va être des hauts, des bas. Plus de bas que de haut, malheureusement, parce que tu veux aller tellement... On est des sportifs, on est des athlètes de haut niveau, on veut aller vite, on veut tout qui aille vite dans le tapis, mais tu peux pas aller plus rapidement que ton corps sur certains moments. Puis, moi, qu'est-ce qui m'a fait mal? Évidemment, il y a le côté émotionnel d'avoir raté cette Coupe du Monde-là, d'être avec l'équipe. Maintenant, ça fait, dans les prochaines 10 ans, c'est pas d'hier. D'avoir passé les phases de la qualification, d'avoir prouvé qu'on avait notre place à cette Coupe du Monde-là, puis de manquer l'événement, évidemment, ça a fait mal, mais pour moi, ça va être de rester fort dans les moments où ça va être un peu plus difficile, où mentalement, il va y avoir des batailles à gagner. Moi, ça a été très difficile, puis maintenant, on peut en parler ouvertement, il n'y a pas de trouble. Quand j'étais dans le moment, c'était plus difficile d'en parler, mais j'ai eu de la difficulté à surmonter certains moments. Donc, ça va être là pour nous en tant que coéquipier, puis en tant qu'humain d'être là pour lui. Mais il va être correct. Regarde Tajon, il va être correct. Je suis pas inquiet pour lui.
Oui, au ras des pâquerettes, il peut revenir. Tu sais, parce qu'on parle, tout le monde, c'est prématuré, il n'y a pas eu encore l'opération, mais tout le monde se dit, la Coupe du Monde, c'est correct, 4-5 mois, c'est mars, c'est avril. Et tu reviens à 100%, ça prend combien de temps pour te sentir à l'aise sur une jambe? En fait, avec ton
la fracture est différente. Moi, c'était tibia péroné, puis tout a sauté. C'est comme si j'ai frappé un tronc d'arbre, là, littéralement.
Ouais.
Là. Donc, tout était lacéré, muscles, tendons, ligaments. C'est ça qui m'a pris.
Tu avais le spécial table d'hôte.
J'avais tout. Ça a pris un peu plus de temps, mais pour moi, c'est le tibia, les muscles autour, ils sont bien évidemment, il y a eu du trauma, mais ils sont corrects. Il va être correct un autre 5 mois, moi je dirais. Je pense qu'il va être correct. Là, c'est tellement difficile. Chaque athlète est différent.
Mais c'est dur de rebâtir sa confiance?
Ça vient avec la répétition, avec l'entraînement, comment tu te sens dans ton corps. Si tu es bien côté physiquement, ta jambe est forte, ta mobilité, ta flexibilité, c'est là que ta confiance va revenir doucement. Puis après ça, tu as le terrain. Ça, c'est une autre paire de manches. Évidemment, la rapidité, la prise de décision. Tu veux toujours revenir plus fort qu'avant, mais c'est pas du jour au lendemain. C'est beaucoup de travail, là. Ça se fait pas du jour au lendemain. Donc, la confiance en va revenir, mais sur le terrain. Ça sera pas dans le gym que ça va
arriver. Il y a beaucoup de
arriver.
joueurs qui disent que justement, quand tu as des blessures comme ça, ce qui est difficile au niveau mental de la compétition, mais c'est la solitude aussi. Tu es souvent seul dans le gym quand
t'es pas avec le
sur
groupe.
le même horaire, tu n'es pas même avec le groupe. Est-ce que ça a été ça pour toi aussi?
À un certain moment, oui, mais pas au début, je te dirais.
Non.
C'est vraiment par la suite où tu es proche d'aller sur le terrain, mais tu n'es pas encore là. C'est là que tu as hâte d'aller sur ton terrain, d'être avec tes coéquipiers, franchement.
Is it something that you can envision from Moïse, like during his rehabilitation, maybe having with the group or throwing another party?
Yeah, well, right now I think he's going to take some time. He's getting surgery on, what day? Tomorrow. And then the first few weeks are not so easy. You know, if we were we were planning on having him come and join us in Romania and Wales, and then he was so close to getting back on the pitch that Nice wanted him to stay. But he wants to be around the team, that's for sure. He loves it. He's an incredible personality. Like, he's obviously a big talent, but even more so, I think he's an incredible person and someone who I think everyone on the team really enjoys. And for a young player, I think he's someone that people look up to as well. So I don't think we'd see him in November, but I suspect that he will be back on the pitch by March and be back in the team in March. So yeah, he's been very positive. I think he knows that injuries happen, and you know, he's even with his leg in the last recovery time hasn't felt 100% that things have been fully right. So in some ways, there's a bit of a closure in the fact that, okay, now he has this injury and he needs the surgery, and he will be better once it all gets healed.
What's it been like? Because we were joking around earlier on with olive trees, and obviously that's less of a Wisconsin or Montreal thing than it is an Italy thing, where you live. First of all, why Italy to begin with?
Well, when we went to Europe, then all our kids have been in Europe and our lives have been in Europe, and my wife achieved getting Italian citizenship through her family lineage. So then we had the opportunity to live there or find a place, a home there, and we wanted to be close to our family, so it worked out perfectly. And quite honestly, when we moved there, I didn't think I was going to be a national team coach. I thought I was going to be a club team coach in Europe. But when this opportunity came about, I was really excited about it. So yeah.
And how has that impacted your work? Because you're far away, which can be a good thing because you're away from politics, you're away from opinions. Maybe you're able to have more of an objective opinion or take on things. You're also closer to players in Europe. But how have you managed that kind of distance?
I mean, from a logistical standpoint, it's a lot that, like, before windows and after windows, I'm here in Canada and we're doing fundraising and we're out in the communities, and, you know, I've gone to a lot of different training sessions and met people, and that part's been awesome, right? I've traveled a lot around the country. But then, you know, when I'm back home, I can kind of keep track of the players in Europe a lot, go visit them. Some of them have, you know, I usually wind up going to visit the guys that are struggling a little bit, that need a little bit of support. So I, you know, like I was going to see Ismail in Marseille.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go see Moyes in Nice and check on him. Ismail now is in Sassuolo, which is only like 2 hours from where I live. So I told him I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on him.
Was he happy to hear it?
No, we have a good relationship, you know. Despite him being mad when I take him off the pitch, he's still a good kid, you know. He's still a good kid.
Did that happen?
Yeah, it happened against Romania, but it wasn't a big deal. And so anyway, like, you know, and then a lot of the times, like you said, in the mornings I'll be working, then in the afternoons people here in Canada are waking up. Kevin and Blue and I are talking every day. We're trying to figure out what things we need to do to continue to enhance the game in the country, specifically build a more robust youth national team program through our fundraising and through the outreach that we've had in the community. The players in Europe are done training, you know, so then if I need to catch up with them at all, these guys are starting to wake up. So sometimes I'm talking to Max on the way to training, right? I mean, we've had multiple times where we're 9 hours apart chatting on the phone about what's going on in life. And so
yeah, he's got kids now, so he wakes up a lot earlier than he used to.
I mean, we've probably talked on the way to work for you like 2 or 3 times, right? So look, I mean, I'm pretty close to the guys. You know, I'm trying to help them in their careers and in their lives. I'm trying to help them try to figure out what the next steps are and what's best for them and how to support them. Having connections in Europe after working there has been helpful for some guys, I think. And then obviously connections I have in MLS. And so, you know, I always thought that national team coaches have to have more gray hair than maybe I do. And it's funny because I was looking at my hair before I came here and I was like, I'm getting too gray.
I would gladly take gray.
Yeah, well, you know, not envying what you got going on over there.
That's harsh.
You look great. You look great. But, you know, I mean, I think the fact that I still have a lot of energy means that I can be really close to these guys, and I still have enough energy to put into the grassroots in the game and to help continue to build the game in this country. So I've enjoyed that.
We're talking about energy because I've been listening to a few of your podcasts of your thing. How much? And we were listening to Rick Carlisle, which is an NBA coach. We're talking about NBA, amazing coach, and he was really prepared for the interviews. How prepared, or how much preparation do you do for things like that, or interviews, or is it
interviews with teams?
No, with the media. With the media.
Yes, I mean it depends, right? There's press conferences that I'm obviously I'm very organized with exactly what I want to come out of those, and a lot of times even when the questions are asked, I'm guiding them into different areas that I think I want to make sure I hit on, so that we are covering the basis for what's important for the team internally, but also covering things externally. And so maybe you read recently that I defended Kyle Larin in the media when I wasn't even asked about Kyle Larin, you know, and I talked about Dane Sinclair one time, and Max and I talked about this.
From my standpoint, you did it with Saliba, when he was here, it was a bit struggling, but you called him, you was like, you were even apologetic, being like, I'm stupid, I should have like called him way earlier. And I thought it was incredible that you're in the player's corner.
No, I mean, look, first of all, if you're around these guys, the character of the team, I say, is almost flawless. Like, there's almost zero ego in the team. There's total commitment to each other. They love the national team. They want to make the country proud. And it's my job just to give them the platform and the opportunity to show how great they are. And what a privilege. And I've said often that they've never really let me down. Like, even in the Gold Cup where we fell short of what we wanted to achieve, like, I thought that we had tons of good performances. We had tons of development in the team. We continue to move forward. So it's been a very rewarding experience for me from so many different angles, but most importantly from the work that gets done with the players.
Parce que c'est important d'avoir, I think it's leadership also. It talks about leadership. I heard you this morning with Jonathan David saying that Juventus don't know how great of a player they have. I'm like, that guy actually I want you as a life coach now, maybe, so you can...
Yeah, but I'm probably going to get a call from Juventus.
Yeah. Well, no, but I don't think you mind, actually, you know?
No. I would be more than happy to speak to them. Well, I was there a few weeks ago, and so I saw a bunch of people, met a bunch of people. I know some people there anyways, but I've said to them personally, like, you know, give Johnny some time. He won't let you down.
Yeah, I'm sure. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Ça fait partie du leadership. C'est ce que tu attends aussi chez tes leaders, justement, d'avoir. On n'est plus dans le. T'es mieux d'être bon, sinon t'es dehors. On préfère avoir justement un leadership comme ça qui est positif, qui va vers l'avant aussi.
Ouais, ça fait une grande différence quand l'humain est considéré. Évidemment, on est tous athlètes, mais ça fait du bien quand l'humain est considéré en premier dans n'importe quelle entreprise. Pour moi, ça fait une énorme différence, je trouve. Et on le voit avec notre entraîneur, même avec Moreau, ça fait longtemps qu'il est avec le groupe. Ça fait longtemps qu'on a ces connexions-là avec Ewan, avec notre staff. L'humain est considéré, et puis c'est pas une question de une, deux mauvaises performances. Non, c'est la big picture, si tu me permets l'expression.
Est-ce qu'on est rendu au bout du développement personnel du podcast, Olivier? Parce que je veux poser une question à Max. Est-ce que, là, c'est la question plus corsée, mais aussi développement personnel. Tu as 2 enfants, puis tu as aussi 2 postes où tu dois partager. Est-ce que tu as appris ces dernières années ou ces derniers mois un peu plus sur le partage, en quelque sorte? Parce que, pour situer les gens, avec James, c'est 50-50, hein, plus ou moins. Avec Dane aussi, c'est 50-50. Avec 2 enfants aussi, par moment, c'est 50-50.
J'espère que vous avez apprécié cette première partie. Pour écouter la suite, visitez chaosport.tv.